Hi everyone, Stepan here with another training game. I'm gonna go d4 again. This guy played me before and I'm losing 0-1. So as they say, let's try to remedy that. Yeah, I'm going d4 c4. I'm not gonna play the London for a while now, except if they play the Dutch, because I still haven't. Oof. Is this the guy who played the early a6? Yes, it is. Okay, so last time I went knight c3. This time I'm gonna go a4. It's a move. And then I didn't analyze that game properly. So if he plays queen a5, I can go knight c3, then he goes b5. Oh, why didn't I look at that variation? Okay, I'm gonna go a4 and think later. a4 is a move. I have a hair in my mouth. Ugh. e5. Maybe that's theory, maybe it's not theory, I don't know. But I'm gonna go knight c3. We're gonna play a check Benoni, it seems. Yeah, so now I should go e4. So this move order prevents what? I don't know what it prevents. So e4 makes sense to me. I'm just gonna play it. Now what do I do? Knight f3, h3, bishop e2, bishop d3. Many options. Okay, so this is my bad bishop. This is his bad bishop. This is my good bishop. I'm gonna go bishop d3 and play for f4. And the logical follow-up is knight e2. Although I could be wrong, but I'm gonna go knight e2. If he then goes knight h5, I will go f4. And if he goes f5, well, okay, I'll just play the principled move I feel is principled, and then we will see what happens. I'm definitely not in any sort of theory. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just going to try to play the normal closed Benoni ideas I'm aware of. I definitely want to go f4 and put pressure on his king side. I have more space. He wants to go f5. So now if I go f4, he goes f5. I take on e5. And if I go f4 and he takes it, I take with what? Do I go f4 or do I castle? So f4, f5 takes. I think he takes on f4. Okay, so I'm gonna go f4. I believe he has to take. Then again, I've been wrong before. Okay. Now what do I take with? Or do I just castle? If I take with the bishop and bishop h4, then g3 or bishop g3. So if I take with the knight, then bishop h4, g3 doesn't seem as good. So I'm going to take with the bishop to develop a piece. And now if f5, I either go e5 or I take. I'm not sure. I think I take, and then I have pressure on d6, and he doesn't have pressure on c4. The general rule when they play f5 is to take it. Then again, general rules don't mean much. Okay, I feel like I should castle. Castles takes, knight takes. Castles f5 takes, seems fine. Castles takes. Yeah, I'm castling here. I don't see a better option. He's preventing me from playing e5, so let's defend the bishop, develop a piece. I definitely want to go e5. That's my plan. e5 to open up my bishop, because that's a bad bishop. And it may involve a pawn sacrifice. But I definitely cannot allow him to occupy the e5 square with the knight. Yeah, he wants to take and go knight e5. That's not good. So maybe bishop g3 now. But then he has bishop e3 as an option. How do I control e5? So bishop g3, bishop e3, king h1 seems okay. I want to take on e5 if he plays knight e5. If I go e5 now, he probably takes with the knight, so I'm not too convinced e5 here works for me. I need my knight on d3, but that's very hard to accomplish. I feel like bishop g3 is correct, so I'm gonna go bishop g3. I cannot allow knight e5. Okay. He wants to go. I don't know what he wants to do. If I go queen c2 trying to play e5, he's gonna go knight e5 anyway. Then I don't have rook f5. If I start rook f5, then he plays knight e5. Maybe king h1 for knight g1 and knight f3 is a good idea. Oh, I like that. King h1, knight e5, knight g1. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Maybe bad, but I like it. My knight is useless on e2. Okay, I don't mind knight takes d3, honestly. If he wishes to do that, he can do that. This is my bad bishop, and if I don't have e5, then I don't have anything. So we're gonna go bishop takes, queen takes, knight f3, queen e7, knight g5, queen g5, e5. But I am gonna have to play queen c2 at some point. I don't know if what I'm doing is correct. I'm just trying to challenge the e5 square. Maybe I could go knight f3 immediately. If he goes bishop g4, I'm playing queen c2. I'm surprised that he didn't go f5. That sort of ruined my plans and okay. Reinforcing the e5 square makes sense. So knight f3 seems like a good idea. If he goes bishop g4, he goes bishop g4. Well, then I could go bishop e2, but then he plays knight f3. Or he plays bishop f3. I go bishop f3. Or do I go bishop e5? I didn't even consider rook takes f6 because I don't think it's good. But I feel like I should go bishop e2 before I go knight f3 to prevent bishop g4. If I go knight f3, he goes bishop g4. Yeah, I'm going bishop e2 first. I want to prevent bishop g4. Okay, knight f3 now makes sense. Okay. I could consider a5, knight a4, but that sort of hangs my c4 pawn. The question remains, where does his bishop develop? So if I go queen c2, bishop g4, knight e5, bishop e2, knight g6. Okay, queen c2 seems reasonable. If knight h5, I go bishop e5. If knight f3, I go bishop f3. Okay, now a5 is definitely a move here. Yeah, I'm gonna go a5. I want to prevent b5 at all costs. And if I can, I'm gonna go knight a4. Now that my queen defends everything. If he goes queen d8, I'm taking on e5, so he doesn't have queen d8. I didn't think this worked. But he does have queen h4 in the end. So if bishop e5, bishop e5, bishop h5, queen h4, sorry, bishop e5, bishop e5, knight e5, queen e5. Ugh, I cannot even take on h5 because my knight is there. Although I could consider knight e5, bishop e5, and bishop h5. He takes on g3, I take on g3, he takes on h5. What's that position like? He throws in knight g3 check, so it doesn't work. So bishop e5 first, definitely. If bishop e5, then knight e5, then queen e5. I'm losing control. I still have to do it, and I have to do it quickly. Okay, now do I trade everything and try to double my rooks? I feel like that should be a good idea. So takes, queen takes, and rook f6. Yeah. Okay. I'm incredibly stupid sometimes. Why didn't I see this? Okay. It's an exchange. I didn't see that. I didn't even consider it. Obviously I'm losing, but there's nothing I can do now. If Queen D4, Queen E2, if I can win the D pawn or push my E pawn, I will have enough counterplay, though probably not enough to equalize. Maybe against Queen D4 I could even consider Queen C1 to be able to check on G5. Yeah, Queen C1 instead of Queen C2, or instead of Queen E2, because now I have Queen G5 check. He cannot take on C4. Okay. I'm gonna go Queen F1 because I don't want to give away my C4 pawn. I don't see an alternative to this. If I could magically get my knight to E6, that would be great. But I don't see a way to do that. So, what do I do? I don't know what to do. He probably wants to go rook E5 now. I'm just gonna give my king some luft. If I get mated, that's not gonna be good. So I want to be able to leave the back rank. Of course I'm losing, but at least this way I'm not hanging mate on the back rank. If rook E5, I can go rook F6, I think. Now he wants to go rook E5. to do. I want to target d6, but if I go queen f4 and he goes rook e5, I'm gonna have to check to prevent a rook trade. So queen f4, rook e5, queen g4, king h8 probably. Let's say rook f3, rook g8. Okay, I'm going for it because I'm running out of time. Okay, I'm gonna check on g3, I think, or on g4. G4, so that I have queen d7. And now I think rook f3. Maybe not rook f3. Okay, rook f3. I want my rook defended. He has f5. He has f5. Although I could consider taking that. I should have considered rook f6 a bit more. I should not have lost the exchange like that. Still, if I can get the d6 pawn, it's all gonna be fine. I don't know, he probably plays rook e7 or rook f7. Okay. He has queen d2 next. So I may have to play queen f4. So queen f4. If I go queen d7, he goes queen d2. And that's not good. So I cannot go queen d7. If I go queen f4, he goes queen e5. Yeah, I have to play quickly. I cannot go queen d7, so this seems like the only option. I have to prevent queen d2. If rook Fg8, then I take on F6. Yeah, but he plays Queen E5. I cannot trade queens. Rook F2 seems forced, but then then Rook G3, and then Queen H6. Okay, I mean, not much to think about. I have to do this, and I have to allow Rook G3. I'm planning to go Queen H6. Okay. I don't see an alternative to this. Again, if Rook G3, I go Queen F5. If Rook F8, then I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm planning to go H4, which may look suicidal, but oh, I'm getting destroyed. And I have a minute on the clock. I mean, I don't think I can save this. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I definitely cannot take. So I guess knight e2 is the only option. I cannot take because he's threatening checkmate with rook g1, rook g2. This way I'm preventing rook g3, and I want to take the pawn with the knight. And at least he doesn't have queen b2. Well, he may have queen b2. Queen b2, knight f4, queen, let's say, c1, king h2, queen c4. I'm still dreaming about e5. Seems very far away now. Can he really do this? I mean, I'm gonna take because I have 30 seconds on the clock. I'm a pawn ahead? How is this even possible? How is this possible? How am I a pawn up in this endgame? He blundered something. I don't have time to think about what. I'm definitely winning. I'm winning. That's definitely true. Because I'm just gonna go king e2, king f3, king g3. He has no way to prevent that. Unless he trades rooks. In which case the pawn endgame is dead lost for him. Very strange blunder by my opponent. I don't think he saw queen f6 check. He had me. I blundered the exchange and then he blundered the exchange back. I don't see a good move for him, unless he can get away with b6. He probably needs to go rook b8. But if he goes rook b8, I'm gonna go rook f3, take with check. Or maybe I just go king e2. It's still not over, but if he trades rooks, it's over. Yeah, b6 is good. Unless I can go rook f3 now. I'm gonna go rook f3 now. Because my king isn't getting mated anymore. And if he goes h4... I don't know what I'm doing. Ugh. I wanted to create a second passed pawn to prevent rook c2, rook c4. And if king e4, I take on d6. Also, I didn't want him to get to my h pawn. Can he really do this? I don't know what I'm doing. I have to take the d pawn. That's the only chance to do something. It doesn't work, but it's the only chance. At least his king is going to be far away. Yeah, it's just gonna be a draw. Maybe I could have won that endgame, but I don't see how. Okay, I mean, we both blundered an exchange once, so I'm guessing a draw is sensible. B6 was a great move. Okay, let's see. H4 was best. Well, firstly, let's have a look at the opening. Let's start with the opening. So, yeah, A6. A4 may move. That I know from last time. And I was expecting something like E6, but okay, E5. Knight C3, okay, fine. D6, E4, sensible. G3 is the main move. Bishop D3 is the third most common, but it's still fine. Now H3, Knight G2 is fine. Knight E8. F4 is a mistake. After F4, it's equal. I should have castled. And then he doesn't have F5 because I take it. So he shuffles his pieces. And I go Queen C2. Okay, so I played F4 too early. That was the problem. Now let's see. This is all equal, equal. King H1 is good. Let's turn on the engine, sorry. Okay, slightly better for white. Bishop E2 is a mistake. I should have gone H3 to prevent Bishop G4. That was also an option. I should not have gone Knight F3. I should have gone A5. I mentioned A5. Equal, equal, equal. White is better after Bishop E5. Knight E5, Queen E5, Bishop H5, Queen H5, Rook F6. White is still better. Queen E5. Rook AF1, that's the line. Bishop F5. Wow! This is the best line. I thought I'd blundered. Okay. Wait, Knight E2 winning? Knight E2, Queen G7, Knight F4? And then? Let's say he develops a rook. Yeah, I go Knight H5, Knight F6. I definitely didn't see that. Queen C1, blunder, equal. But it's equal, I'm not worse. I am worse now after Queen F4, but I'm surprised that losing the exchange was the best line. Losing, losing, definitely losing. F4, okay, Knight E2 is good. Yeah, now after Knight G3 I'm winning. All correct. Rook E6. What if he goes Rook F8? Rook E6, Rook F8, King G1, Rook F2. We have to see that. Rook E6, Rook F8, King G1, not Rook F2, but Rook F4 according to the engine. Rook D6, Rook E4. So I don't take on D6, instead I go B3. Wow. And then E5. Okay, this never occurred to me. I assumed that Rook F4 was the only move. It's still winning. King F1 is a blunder. I should have gone B3. Which makes sense, because it allows me to go Rook F3 saving my pawn. Okay. Should have taken on B6. Why? Okay, Rook F3. Let's say he goes H4. Then Rook B3 is winning. Equal, equal, all zeros. This is all equal? That's very strange. Yeah, now I get that it's equal, but... Okay. So apparently my exchange sacrifice was the best move, which is weird. People say in the chat, yes, 2692 was the key. Let's go back. That's the 92 I'd missed. Yeah. knight e2 would have won the game. I didn't even consider it. I didn't consider it. Although it's a forcing move that saves a pawn and chases the queen away and gains the tempo, I should have considered knight e2. Okay, thank you for watching. This was a very stressful game. I'm surprised I'd survived. See you in the next one. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye.